What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the RockJock Correct Link heavy duty steering system fitting all 2007 through 2018 JK Wranglers. This steering system will tailor to the JK owner who is looking to beef up their Jeep for a variety of different reasons, whether that be that you've added a lift and heavy wheels and tires and want a tie rod and drag length that can hold up to that heavier weight, and or you take your Jeep off-road more often and need a system that's going to be able to take the brunt of those trails. This design also allows for up to 6 inches of lift without a flip in the drag link, and no altering of the knuckle is needed here, keeping this modification free while also making your life a whole lot easier when it comes to alignment and any maintenance down the road compared to your factory system if you want a steering system that's going to be tough but easy to work with. This will feature a build that's 12% larger than factory, but that's not the only here that's going to make this stronger than the OE system. Now on either side of each of these links, these will have heavy duty ball joints with boots that are made for tougher angles and tougher abuse, so you can ensure that even with up to 6 inches of lift, the ball joints aren't going to bind and the boots will resist tearing and letting in any unwanted dirt or junk into the joint that would potentially compromise your performance. The tie rod will also have removable ends on either side, which is a change compared to factory. So not only will that make alignment much easier with on-car adjustments, but like I mentioned earlier, you can maintenance this if you do go a little too hard off-road and damage an end. Now all of those features combined will give you a very controlled experience in your Jeep, whether you are driving on road with those larger wheels and tires and just want to maintain a comfortable day-to-day ride, or again, you are taking your Jeep off-road and want a system that is going to respond whenever you turn the wheel. The drag link will have a 1.3 inch solid forged steel, and the tie rod here is a tubular steel that is 1.65 inches in diameter. Again, not only being bigger, but these are going to have some better structural integrity to resist any damage. Now, although the tie rod is tubed, the tie rod ends will have a forged steel construction and will have those HD ball joints that can be greased with an easy to reach Zerk fitting, making maintenance simple, although they do come pre-greased. Now both of these will have a semi-black powder coat finish to resist any rusting or surface damage on the links. Now the kit also comes with a tough steel stabilizer bracket to accommodate the larger size on the tie rod when being mounted up. You are getting a new bolt there, and you're also getting some new cotter pins and hardware, so you're not going to have to reuse factory. This will be roughly $775 for the set, and while it's not the most expensive, it is more of a premium choice. Now in the category, you will see choices like this that come in a kit for both the drag link and the tie rod, or separately, and I think that this is going to make it very easy to beef up your steering with similar components in one kit. These also will be rated for a wide range of lifted applications and don't require modification to the knuckle, which is not true for all aftermarket steering links, so I think that gives it the one up if you're not necessarily looking to modify your Jeep and you don't want to flip your drag link. I also think if you're looking to invest in a steering system that has those benefits and will allow you to keep up with it for the life of your Jeep, especially if you're beating on it, then this is going to be a fantastic pick for you. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and will take you about 4 hours to get the job done for the full kit. I do want to make it clear that you will need a proper alignment after this is installed to maintain proper wear on your tires and other components, as well as a stable and safe ride. So at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get this installed onto your JK at home. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, a rubber mallet, a hammer, adjustable wrench, needle nose pliers, 19, 21, and 24 millimeter wrenches, an extension, a swivel adapter, a 21 millimeter swivel socket, 14, 18, 19, and 24 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing steering arms on our Wrangler, so let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do is pop off our steering stabilizer. Now our Jeep is lifted, so our stabilizer mount is a little bit different than it is from stock, but it uninstalls the same. So I'm gonna get the inner mount first. I've got an 18mm socket with a swivel adapter on my impact to pop that nut off. So now we'll start on our nut. Next, we're gonna remove our outer bolt. Now I've got a 19mm bolt and nut, so I'm gonna grab a 19mm socket and wrench. Now our mount is aftermarket, so your hardware might be a different size, but still uninstalls the same. So now to pop this off, we can just pull our bolt the rest of the way out. I'm gonna swing this forward and lift it up off the stud. Now we can come right on the inside of our tire and remove our two 21mm nuts. So I've got a 21mm swivel socket. I've got these sprayed down with some spray lube, and we can pop these nuts off. And then I'm just gonna leave these on a couple threads while we bang these out of the knuckle so that way they don't drop straight down. So now with our nuts loosened up, we can take a hammer. We're gonna strike the side of the knuckle here to break up all the rust on the ball joint to pop it free. Now this bottom one already popped out, but our top one's stuck, so I'm gonna smack it with the hammer. And now I'm gonna leave the nuts on until we do the same thing on the other side so that one side doesn't drop. We can remove both nuts at the same time when we go to remove our arm. Now coming over to the driver's side, we're just gonna do that same thing on the knuckle here. There's a 21mm socket to pop off the nut. And then with our nut on a few threads, we can start beating the knuckle to pop this out. Next, we'll follow our other arm up to the top here. We have one more 21mm nut. This one we can't really get a socket on, so I'm gonna go in with a 21mm ratcheting wrench. And then once again, you can get in there with your hammer. Now that we pop that out, we have a little more clearance to get our wrench back on there and finish removing the nut. And now with the ball joint that we disconnected, we're gonna follow that arm down to the other side, finish removing our nut, and we can remove our first arm. Now we can do that same thing for the other arm. And we'll follow this over to the other side. And now same thing on the other side. And remove your arm. So now that we have our stock steering arms off, we're gonna use those to set the length for our new ones. Now this isn't gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be good enough to get you down to the alignment shop to get it professionally done. So we're just gonna adjust this and then take a 19mm socket and wrench to tighten down our clamp. So now I've got the other end straight so that we can adjust this. We can see our new ball joint's a little bit shorter than our old one. So we're just gonna pick this up without moving it too much and thread that out. Go a few threads and then we'll check it. Probably need one more. And now with the other end lined up, it's looking pretty straight right there. So now we'll move the stock one out of the way. And we'll take our 19mm socket and wrench and tighten down our clamps. And now we'll do the same thing for our other set of arms. Now our second arm's looking pretty good out of the box. There's a little bit of adjustment that we need to do. So we can come down to this end. We should just need one turn out of this side and then we can tighten everything down. So now on this end, this ball joint is going out a little bit further. So we're gonna twist this in one turn. And that looks pretty straight there. So let's go ahead and tighten up our jam nut by hand. And then you can take an adjustable wrench, tighten this down. This is looking about 1 5/8 inches if you have a regular wrench that size. And now we can come down to the other side to our bracket and tighten down our pinch bolt. So we'll take a 19mm socket and wrench once again and tighten that down. And now we can get these installed in the Jeep. So now we can install our steering arms. I've got a buddy holding the other side, support the weight. Now first we're doing the one that the steering stabilizer mounts to. So we'll just get that in place and thread our nut on. And just to hold that in place for now. And now we'll do that same thing on the other side to connect this to our other side knuckle. And now we're going to do that same exact thing with our other arm. Get that up into place, thread our nut on. And then we can follow this up to the pitman arm and install it there. Now we'll take this other end up to our pitman arm. And thread our nut on. Now you might have to turn the wheels like I did to get this to come back far enough to get into your pitman arm. But now we can go back and tighten down all of our nuts. So now with all of our ball joints connected, we can take a 24mm socket on a swivel adapter, tighten these down and install our cotter pins. So now we can take our cotter pin and slide it through the hole in the stud. And then we'll hold the one side, take some needle nose pliers, and we're gonna bend that back out of the way. Now same thing for the other one. Now we'll just do that same exact thing on our remaining two ball joints. Now lastly, we'll go up to our pitman arm. We're gonna have to get a 24mm wrench on here because there's no room for a socket. Next, we can install our new steering stabilizer bracket. So we're gonna drop that on and use these U-bolts. Split through the bottom, thread our nuts on. And we'll do that same thing on the other side. We're just gonna get this hand tight for right now. Now we can reinstall our steering stabilizer. Now, once again, our Jeep is lifted, so our steering stabilizer mount is a little bit different than yours would be if it's stock. The normal location is underneath this track bar mount, so something to keep in mind. So we'll slide that into our mount, slide our bolt through, and then we'll get our washer and nut on the bottom side. I'll leave that hand tight for now. So now we're just gonna line up our steering stabilizer to our bracket, and right here it's looking pretty straight. So I'll pop that out of the way and take a 14mm socket to tighten down all of these nuts. Now for the stock steering stabilizer location, this is gonna be clocked 90 degrees and facing the rear of the vehicle. However, for our application, it's gonna be straight up for our steering stabilizer setup. So now we can pop our steering stabilizer into our mount, grab our bolt with the flat washer to put through the front and the flat washer and nut to put on the back. Now if your bushings and sleeves aren't the best like ours, you might have to use a little bit of gentle persuasion to guide this in. And then we'll get our washer and our nut on the other side of that bolt. Now we can grab our 19mm socket and wrench and tighten down both of our bolts. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the RockJock Correct Link Heavy Duty Steering System for your 2007 to 18 Jeep Wrangler JK. Thank you for watching, and for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.